Hello everyone, my name is Farheen and I am a senior project officer and a wildlife crime analyst working with a local NGO called Aranyak here in Guwahati. And my work involves conducting and organizing capacity building workshops, trainings and awareness programs for local communities, local law enforcement, frontline forest staff, border security and the general public as a whole. So ever since I was a young child, going back to my village, I saw this lush, beautiful forests and the beautiful wildlife of Northeast India. And I was very, very amazed and intrigued by them. But along with that, I also saw a lot of problems like habitat destruction, pollution, and illegal wildlife trade that grapples Northeast. So for my life, I decided it was my mission to make sure that we not only have to safeguard these natural resources, but also Northeast India's biodiversity as a whole. The basic set of qualities that you need to contribute to this field is, of course, scientific knowledge about wildlife, the field experience that you need, good physical fitness, and of course, some advocacy knowledge and policy knowledge that you need. Other than that, I think to actually contribute to the field of wildlife science, you do not have to be a wildlife biologist or a wildlife scientist at all. You just need to have love for nature, love for all beings, and wanting to actually make a difference in the field of conservation. The basic challenges that the wildlife field faces in terms of both flora and fauna, first of course is the extensive habitat loss because of insane developmental projects and other deforestation and human anthropologic stress that falls in the environment. Coupled up with habitat loss, we also have a lot of man-wildlife conflicts, mostly elephants and other bigger mammals with people. And that has caused not only loss of wildlife, but also loss of human lives as well. Apart from that, I think we have a lot of law enforcement rules and regulations which are full of loopholes, and the enforcement of those laws need to be strengthened, to make a difference. So lacking in that part has also caused a lot of problems, and also limited resources. The humanitarian efforts that goes into actually doing conservation is not matched with the resources that we have. And although a lot of agencies do support us, it is still quite behind when we compare it with the efforts. And when it comes to the rewards, I think my contribution to protecting both endangered and endangered animals like rhinos, elephants, tigers gives me immense pleasure that I know that I'm contributing to a cause that is going to create a sustainable environment. And apart from that, helping local communities come up with sustainable ecotourism methods and sitting with them and incorporating their local knowledge into their livelihood that can be sustained for a long time compared to what it would have been if they depended on wildlife. I think it gives me immense happiness to be contributing to a field like that. My journey so far has been very rewarding. I started my journey in wildlife through filmmaking and photography first, and then I started going into research, and right now I'm a professional. So I think major milestones in my career is the first, I would have to say that I co-founded DETERS, which is DETERS, standing for Disrupt and End Trade of Endangered and Rare Species, which is a novel initiative of Aranyak. I also, in the last 3.5 years of my professional career, trained almost 4,000 law enforcement officials in fields of wildlife crime investigation, and identification of wildlife products. That has been a very good experience, and I would just hope that I can contribute in this field for a long time. And other than that, I have covered a story on the SRPF, which is the Special Rhino Protection Force in Kaziranga. And I did a story on the women there, and which has been published 3 times around in national and international journals. So I think these 3 are one of my, few of my milestones till now. My advice for people would be basically, first is to identify which field of wildlife you would like to contribute in, because wildlife is an amalgamation of different topics. So it's good to identify where you're good at. It's not only field work, could be documentation, could be community work, could be species work, could be habitat work. So it's a big mixture of things. I think that could work well. And second would be to actively volunteer in projects and conservation efforts of other local NGOs and international NGOs. That gives you a good experience of the holistic life that you will have when you get involved in a field like this. Third would be, I think, to be very aware and read and educate yourself on international best practices. But again, take those learnings and try and apply it or modulate it in terms of the local practices and the traditional knowledge of our indigenous people. So I think these three would be my main advices for people who are willing to get into this field in Northeast at least. I think wildlife in the last few years have had amazing advancements in the field of AI, using drones to track wildlife and also track wildlife crimes. We have a lot of advancements in the field of genetics that has contributed a lot in terms of forensic investigations and digital crime tracking. Also, the use of digital and AI methodologies. We have a lot of successes in tracking crime through the digital world and through the dark web. I think these fields have opened up the possibilities of getting more technological experts and contributions in terms of successful wildlife conservation. Yes, there are a lot of programs all over the world, and even in terms of the Indian context that we have. Aranyak, the NGO that I work for, has internship and research-based programs for newcomers and the young generations who would like to get into it so that they can learn more about the actual field experience and the professional life of a wildlife biologist. Other than that, we have other NGOs like WWF, Traffic, WTI, WCS, which are also NGOs, and they have good programs, similar programs for the younger generations. And when it comes to resources, I think we have small grants for the younger generations or the students who are just trying to get into the field and try to incorporate small projects into their careers in the beginning. So we have something called Rufford's grants, which they can apply for. And we also have a very good program called the CLP, which is the Conservation Leadership Program, which aims at young students to train them and to teach them how to do successful wildlife conservation and to become leaders of the future.